Here you go.
Oh, wow. Really? I asked for a glass of water and Kayla really hooked it up.
It was almost to the...
Bring me the biggest mason jar full of water you got. She's gonna keep me hydrated, guys.
That's right.
B.Bloomed Lovecast.
Hi.
Cody here.
I'm Kayla.
And today, well, what was it, the 1st of May? Like they're going to start phasing things back to normal.
Right.
Because of the coronavirus.
But you know what? I'm still going to wear my shirts 3 days in a row.
Are you?
Yeah.
Why?
You can't stop me.
That's right. Some of this stuff just, once, what do they say? You can take the cowboy out of, how does it go? I don't know how the saying goes. Comment below until the saying goes. But you can take the guy out of quarantine, but you can't take the quarantine out of the guy.
That's right.
I don't know how the original saying goes. Oh my gosh, that was a moment. So, yeah, Kayla's going to go back to normal, but however, she will not. She refuses to change unless it's every 3 days. And
I just really like this shirt. We took Tegan shopping on her birthday, and she got the same shirt. And I'm like, I wonder if like a large in the kids would fit me.
Is that a large in the kids?
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, Kayla's rocking it. It's cute.
And so we got them to match, but one, I'm saving water.
Okay.
I stink, but only just a little bit.
Just a little bit? Just a tiny little bit?
Yeah. So, I mean, why not wear your clothes until you have to wash them?
Sure. Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Stop. So, so May 1st, Tegan's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Starting to phase things back in.
Yeah.
We got a lot of things done. I mean...
We got so much done. We did a lot of deep cleaning. We cleaned out so many closets.
Yeah. People talk about being bored on quarantine.
Yeah.
I think I've said this before. Just pick a closet and open it.
Yeah.
And decide to organize it and purge it. You will not be bored for at least another couple hours.
I cleaned out my closet and had 4 garbage bags full of clothes to donate.
Oh, there's water.
We cleaned out our garage.
Yep.
We've done
all the closets, right? Almost all of them?
Not all.
I think that we went through every single closet.
No.
Except for that one, but that one was not that bad. So what I'm saying is we purged. Mm-hmm. We've separated the stuff that we want to like donate or take to the dump.
I tried to go to the dump, but...
my gosh.
So I called them and asked them if they were open.
They said yes.
And they said yes. So,
but they forgot one caveat until you got there.
Yeah. So we don't have a truck anymore. And so I filled up our Flex, which can hold a lot of stuff still. And I drove to the dump. And when I got there, it said for commercial businesses only.
Mm-hmm. Should have come all the way back,
and then
unload it.
So we have a pile of trash on the side of our house.
Not really it's not trash, but like it's just
things we want to take to the dump, so it's trash.
Yeah, but like not like kitchen trash.
just a bunch of dog poop.
Yeah, just dog poop and bags of kitchen refuse, flies over there. No. But it feels good. It feels good to go through everything and do that purge and organize and do some interior decorating you've been putting off for a while. We need to do some painting really bad.
We planted beets and carrots.
Yeah.
We're gonna get some more planting done.
We started the B.Bloomed.
I was just gonna say that.
We started the B.Bloomed YMM
Facebook
digital
group.
Online yoga studio, basically, right?
Yeah. So Cody's awesome and got it all set up. And we've been doing live classes every week. We've been doing Meditation Monday, where we teach a meditation class. Turn Up Tuesday, where we do a Tabata HIIT style class.
Jumping jacks.
That we take all of our micro session workouts and we build a Tabata type class.
Every week, yeah, it's fun.
It's really fun. And then we have Third Eye Thursdays, where we teach either a yoga class or
one of our 2% enlightenment classes,
Right.
like our teachings on meditation and
yoga philosophy.
we take things from yogic and Buddhist philosophy. What we do is we boil it down to that 2% that you need for your normal life, because things like yoga and Buddhism, the real end goal is enlightenment, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're just trying to be kind of enlightened. Henry's playing outside, and it's hilarious to watch.
Sorry.
But the whole idea with 2% enlightenment is just to be enlightened a little bit. So you're not be miserable.
Yeah, you don't have to sit and meditate all day long and become enlightened.
Just a little bit every day, or every other day, or whatever.
Take
even
5
once
minutes.
a week.
Right.
Just shut that shit down.
Amen.
Shut that brain down for a minute,
brother. Which is awesome, because I got my yoga teaching certification a year ago. Last week. I was officially done. And our ultimate dream is to have a yoga studio / coffee, tea bar, meditation room, bookstore, metaphysical store.
Right.
Not compounding. That gives off the wrong impression.
No. But it'd be like it's like you can go there. It's a one-stop shop for all things metaphysical or anything mind body. So like you want to find a book on yoga, we got it there. You want some crystals, we got it. You want some really awesome organic, free trade coffee, we got it. You want some Ayurvedic meals, we got it. You want to take a yoga class, we got it. So it's like that's our ultimate dream,
right?
Our B.Bloomed Yoga Center.
But it's center, not compound.
Yeah, but it would cost millions of dollars to build our dream. But with the online, with the Facebook group, we've turned it into like a digital yoga studio.
It's like
we
a
can still do our
community.
teachings. Yeah, right.
So I still get to teach, which is what I love, but we're not spending millions of dollars. Eventually, that's our end goal. But this way, we can build our following. We can create that community and
get people interacting. Get people interacting with the brand in a mutually beneficial way.
Right.
Oh, someone's at the door. You want to grab that? Our special guest is here. They have no doorbell etiquette. Who is it? Henry's here. Ba-da-da-da-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba. It's Henry. Here he comes. Joining us on the B.Bloomed Lovecast. Say hi.
There he is. He likes to frequent our podcasts.
What are you doing outside? Saw you playing out there. Had your gun. You were like shooting bad guys.
What are you shooting?
Just cars.
That's fine. Just shooting cars. Cool. Another thing about quarantine is we learned that, and we already knew this, but like being thrust into being together 24/7, we aren't driving each other crazy. Oh, that's testament to our. I feel like you're way off in left field here.
Oh, I just moved over because of Henry.
Scooch in. Scooch. But yeah, like you read posts on social media about people talking about getting driven crazy with their kids and family. I know a lot of it's sarcastic, but there's people out there who aren't a good fit, and then being forced to be together all the time, that can put stress and so because our parenting style and our marriage style, and because we practice mindfulness and we take care of ourselves, we're able to. We don't need to be going on some fancy trip every weekend to have a good time. Yes, I'm not saying that's not fun, but we can be right here, working in the garden, just doing the podcast.
Right.
We're so content just being with each other. So it's been cool.
Speaking of trips, though.
Okay.
We're gonna have a trip in our future because we have a
Sky
Mile card.
American Express, right, for Delta?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That we've been using to pay for everything, and then we just pay it off immediately. But we have so many
Racking up Sky Miles, baby.
That we're going to be able to go anywhere once
this
is over.
Somewhere baller. Well, I think we're going to New York and Boston, New Hampshire. This fall, hopefully things don't fall again. But yeah, it's been interesting. I have a hard time wearing the mask, not because, I don't know, it's weird, but I'm going to have to start doing it to go back to work, because I'm going to start phasing back into going back to my I've been teleworking, so I'm going to start going back
Right.
a couple days a week and start phasing that in.
Mm-hmm.
I have to wear a mask, and it's like, I don't know what it is
Same.
about it. I don't know what it is about it. It's like, to me, it feels like I know it's because we want to slow down the transmission. But my personal belief is that I have a healthy enough immune system. I'm not worried about catching it. But what if I did have it? Because I know they said they've seen people who got it and didn't show any symptoms because they actually got it and their body fought it off.
Mm-hmm.
So I am worried that's why I'm trying to get my head set on why it's important to wear it, because what if I did contract it, but I'm processing it, but I'm still spewing out.
Exactly. And there's someone with a compromised immune system or
right. Or some kind of pre-condition,
pre-existing
right?
condition, and you spread it to them.
So we've been thinking a lot about it's tough, man. It's a tough situation to be in because you're trying to balance people dying from COVID versus the economy, but there's a lot of things that have been and will continue to be adversely affected by the shutdown. That, I mean, does it justify the deaths? Because so we have some numbers here. They predicted 2.2 million deaths with the model they had.
Guys, I don't need like this. Show me.
Show
Guys.
you? What are you doing? They can't see you. Here, come on, go over here. Go over here. Ready? This is how Henry eats his cheese. He wants to show you this for some reason. Okay, Henry, show him how you eat your cheese. That's how you do it? Just like a wild, crazy little animal? Okay, go sit down.
Oh, how can you be bored in quarantine when you have that?
Shredded cheese, man. It's fun all day.
Okay.
So they predicted 2.2 million deaths, but there's been 68,040 deaths.
Correct.
Now, nobody's saying that nobody wants anybody to die, but a lot more people have died from the flu, right? Now we know that this is a different thing because I hear so much different information about this.
How do you know what is truly true?
And I did a little bit of digging, and apparently this thing from I think it was called London College. Am I saying that right? Go to my Facebook feed. I think it was it London College? There was some paper that was written by some respected virologist or epidemiologist. I can't remember what, but they're the ones who recommended the shelter in place. And just go to my feed. Go to that one post. I think it's London College.
Which one?
Right here. So scroll down. It was Imperial College London. Okay, they're the ones. I think they're the ones that put out the original COVID-19 models. And so I looked into like some of the documents that influence the policy. Now, I think a lot of you have heard of Dr. Erickson, who had that COVID-19 brief, where they basically said, well, here's our numbers that we're seeing here. And if you look at the percentage of people that tested positive and the people that died, and you compare that to the population of California, it's only it was like a 0.00 something % death rate, right? And people attack them about the inaccuracy of their data, but it's like they're just using their raw data from what they were seeing in the field.
Mm-hmm.
And people are coming out saying, oh, their data is inaccurate. Well, the people who came out with the original model, this Imperial College London, they predicted 2.2 million. It's 68,040. You want to talk about inaccurate?
Right.
And that's not a knock at the Imperial College, but the point about
it's like a quarter.
It's like way less than that, but it's a very small amount. I'm
good at that.
It's a huge error in terms of now.
And maybe the quarantine helped that.
No doubt it had an effect.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you isolate people,
it's going to slow down the transmission.
Exactly.
And nobody's ever debated that would slow down the transmission, but so I went and watched this show called Truth in Media. Host was Ben Swan. And they had Dr. Erickson on their program after they'd been vilified and their videos have been taken down off YouTube. And he was talking about this epidemiologist in Sweden named Dr. Gisecki. And he said that there's never been any evidence that sheltering in place like this actually fixes the bigger problems with this virus. Like, yes, he's not saying, nobody's saying that it won't have an effect. Yes, if you shelter in place, there's going to be an effect. But I believe what he was saying was that the actual deaths themselves have flattened the curve, not just the shelter in place.
Right.
But the point is, he was criticizing the Imperial College paper, saying that it was unpublished. I think it was like unpublished, unpeer-reviewed, and he's never seen anything like this, anything unpublished like this. I think he said unpublished, or something about it not being at a certain level of what's the word I'm looking for? Of scrutiny. Or I wasn't scrutinized enough, I guess. But when we talk about science, science is the whole process of you have a model and you
have a hypothesis.
Yep.
It's a scientific method.
It is. And you've taught it to our daughter in homeschool.
Yeah,
so
you collect data, you test the data, and you come up with a conclusion.
Now we have a model here that predicted 2.2 million deaths. We're only seeing 68,040. So when it comes to people like Dr. Erickson and his team, we should be listening to them to collect data to try to update the model.
Right.
So by saying it's misinformation, and people out there, stomping their feet about science, well, the scientific method is all about skepticism and questioning the model. So it's like, what do you people want? You want cognitive bias in your science? That doesn't help with science. If you're just constantly looking for information you need to fit your model, the model can never be updated to more closely approximate reality, right? So we just thought it was really interesting, and there's a lot more we could get into, like Dr. Fauci being connected to the freaking Wuhan lab that was doing coronavirus research with bats. It was a Newsweek article. And we're not talking about some dude eating a bat. We're talking about people purposely taking wild viruses and running them through live animals to get them to mutate, and it's on document, it's saying the purpose was to get something that was very highly infectious in the human population. Now, I can see if I played devil's advocate, they'd want to study that to know how to prevent it, but they were highly warned not to do so. And the reviews they have for these kinds of things were done in secrecy, and the government has been totally, what's the word I'm looking for? The government has been criticized for holding these meetings in secret,
right?
Because it's such a high risk thing. So they were, Dr. Fauci is I think it's Dr.
Fauci, yeah.
He's informing the president. He's connected to funding this lab who worked on coronavirus in bats.
Right.
Okay, so there's a lot of conflict of interest, a lot of strange things going on. But the point is, Tigi's here. The point is, Tigi's here. We're going back to normal soon. She got to miss out on a whole half year of school, basically.
For my birthday, so I just kind of took it home.
That's sweet.
We're doing our podcast. Say hi.
SLIME.
Say hello to the people.
Hi.
Hey!
She knows how to really come in. Bring her. They really know how to bring their voice into this space. But you know what? We're wearing these, so I wonder how well you can hear them.
I don't know, but she was pretty close to my mic when she did that.
Hello.
Get out of here.
I'm beautiful.
You are.
Okay, go play with your brother
Bye,
for a second.
guys.
We're trying to wrap this puppy up. So anyways, when you're in quarantine and this is all over the news, you have time to look into it, and I've had some interesting conversations on Facebook with people about this, and applying mindfulness to that helps.
People are very passionate about their beliefs, and
that's okay.
Right. But I feel like Cody has done a really good job of responding to the people he's been interacting with on Facebook because of the posts that he's made with loving kindness. And he takes time to really think about how he's going to respond. And
yes.
I think that
with that being said, there was a couple times where I allowed myself to get caught up in the passionate response, and I would notice myself being combative or being short. and not on purpose always either. Like one time I was short responding to somebody because I hate it when you see something and you want to respond because you don't want to forget to respond.
Yeah.
But you're kind of in a hurry, and so you respond, but you're kind of short.
But
and that can come across as being rude when you're not trying to be rude.
Exactly, because when you're talking through written text, you don't get to feel what the other person is saying necessarily. You read it and you interpret it the way you want to. Like,
right, and if it's short, it comes across as like pointed.
Right.
But what I learned was to reflect back that I do understand their point of view, because I'm not closed-minded to the point where I won't understand somebody's point of view. But try to reflect back a little bit what they had previously said, and then go into your response in a way that's it softens them to actually listen to what your point of view is. So like, okay, yeah, they understood what I said, and they're not just saying that I'm a stupid piece of garbage. Because if you say, listen here, you stupid piece of garbage, they're not listening anymore after that. They're not going to read what you have to say. So you have to you don't have to lie, but if you're honest and you're mindful and you have loving kindness, you'll try to respect people's opinions, but also stand your ground in a way that's not counterproductive. Because there's a way to stand your ground that's counterproductive. And honestly, and I heard my buddy Paul, he was commenting on some of the stuff, and he said it pretty good, which was, I'm not unwilling to change my view, but the information has to be good enough for me to want to.
Right.
And not that I won't consider it. Like we'll consider other opinions on this stuff. But anyways, it's been interesting. Mindfulness comes into play even on your Facebook posting and your communicating.
It comes into play with everything.
Yeah, it's
all interactions.
So
even with yourself.
Let's look at the things that are affected
negatively
by the coronavirus that aren't just the deaths, right? So
22 million people have applied for unemployment.
Right.
And we also know that they signed the stimulus package where people who make under a certain amount of money get the stimulus package. So that was a $2.2 trillion dollar bill that they
trillions,
passed.
Yep. And they're doing more billions and more trillions. Not even thinking about things like quantitative easing they've been doing for a while, where they're constantly injecting money into the system, which people don't realize is a serious problem because that causes inflation.
It's not real money. They're just making it up.
It's currency, yeah. It's not real money because they're not using economic energy to create the money.
It's not backed.
They're typing it into a computer.
Yeah.
But kind of like your promissory note in your house. When you sign your promissory note, there's not $400,000 for that house sitting in some rich dude's coffer somewhere. That money gets punched into a computer and comes into existence. And why is that a problem? Well, we're setting ourselves up for hyperinflation, and that affects everybody. And there are there's actual numbers of deaths associated with economic collapse. Even a crash like the one we just experienced, there's probably a number of deaths associated with that economic collapse. Even though some people are still doing okay, some people's situation was fragile enough that could destroy them. And probably some deaths that came from it. How many people
have lost their jobs, and so many people have been negatively impacted. I mean, I lost my job. Luckily, I get to go back, and hopefully it will return to normal like it used to be, but we don't know that.
Business might be a little bit different because you're phasing in, and I think it'll be good because people will be itching to get back to normal. People don't want to be afraid of this thing.
Right.
I think that's a good thing. I really do. And so there's other things.
Like Forbes, there was an article in Forbes that stated that 36% of Americans say that the pandemic has made a serious impact on their mental health, which leads to the next article that we looked at from the Daily Beast, saying that the U.S. suicide rate has been the highest it's ever been in 30 years. So there's so many, and that's only the tip of the iceberg, I'm sure. But this is going to hurt us so much more in the long run. And I'm not trying to be insensitive to the number, the 68,000 deaths or whatever, but I think that's far either lower or equivalent to what happens with the flu. And we're not shutting down over the flu.
Now, I know it's not the same as a flu, but
Right.
I mean, come on, you can Google this. 68,000 compared to 2.2 million.
As
the
of
reason
May
we were
3rd.
all scared and put into quarantine was because of the 2.2 million number.
Mm-hmm.
But it's 68,000. So...
Weren't you listening to, was it Joe Rogan, when he was talking to someone about the death calls, how they would get one maybe once a week, and now they're going on 5 a day or something like that?
Like the suicide hotline?
Yeah.
Whatever? I think so, yeah. But, and that's the thing, there are numbers of deaths associated with how far down the market goes.
Right.
So,
anxiety and
here's
depression.
The thing, if you're in the health, what's the word I'm looking for? In the medical field, if you're a nurse or a doctor, whatever the case may be, we've talked to, we had Kyle on our podcast, right? And we didn't really get into this as much, but I've gotten some people pretty heated on Facebook who are in the medical profession because they're in that discipline, right? And I want to let those people know that we're not at all insensitive to what they're seeing. But let's look at the numbers again. 2.2 million versus 68,000. It's a pretty big difference. So it's been crazy, guys. Please leave comments. Let us know what you think about this. You curse our names if you don't like what we're saying, or give us a big thumbs up if you like what we're talking about.
I mean,
Subscribe,
personally,
like, share. Kayla's gonna close out with some Kayla thoughts. That's enough.
Personally, I've loved every second of quarantine.
Yep.
I
don't want to go back to normal, but I have to.
Right. It's brought up a lot of emotions. Going back to work and not being able to spend every second of my day with my amazing family. But I also want to work to provide for my family. I don't want to be handed everything. And I think there's a lot to say about someone who will sacrifice their time to provide.
You bring up a great point. So if you're capable to earn a living, it's so irresponsible to sit back and just take the check, because that doesn't help the economy. You going back to work helps because you're creating economic energy. People don't understand that. It comes back down to the law of conservation of things like energy and mass, right? So in science, they say that energy can't be created nor destroyed. I mean, you can't pull energy out of nowhere.
Right.
You can't destroy it. It just turns into a different form. So like when you burn wood, the energy in the atoms and the molecules of that wood, when you burn it, it gets released into a new form of... So you don't destroy it.
Right.
But like with the money creation, when you create it with no energy behind it, so for example, when you work that hour and you earn that $20 or whatever it is, there's a proper energy transfer of energy, right? But what people don't understand about hyperinflation is when you inject all this energy that you create at a thin air into the system, it destabilizes it. And people ask all the time, why is it we haven't had hyperinflation yet? It's because of the petrodollar. Because gas can only be bought and traded and sold in American dollars.
Right.
So right now the oil industry is hurting. So if we were to continue to go on with this quarantine, the deaths would probably hit 2.2 million because of the economy crashing, not because of the coronavirus. So it's been bittersweet.
It has.
And like we talked about, going back to normal is like having to go back to school after being off all summer long.
Right. So
it'll be good though. It'll be good to get back to the normal routine. We have to all be willing to go back to normal so life can go back to...
Exactly.
It's never going to be exactly the same, and I hope we don't have to keep this, wear your mask, stay 6 feet from each other. It's like...
Let me take your temperature.
I hope it doesn't stay like
gloves
that.
And... Okay,
but
sorry.
Be mindful, exercise, meditate, eat good, take your vitamin D.
Yeah.
Your lifestyle will keep your immune system strong. I feel like we keep trying to wrap it up. The more stuff keeps popping up. You're in for the long haul, guys. What do you got?
Okay.
Kayla's Googling. It's going to get good. She's like our Jamie. Pull that up, Jamie.
Darn it, I can't find it. Okay,
what are you looking for?
I was looking for... Because I saw your jar and it says wide mouth mason.
Wide mouth mason.
And there's this the wide mouth frog joke. I'm the wide-mouthed frog. What do you feed your babies? But I can't find it.
What do you feed your babies?
It's from my childhood.
Oh my gosh.
So, we can cut this
Is it a
out.
joke? Oh, we're not cutting it
but
out.
I can't find it.
This is going on air. This is going on YouTube's.
Okay.
You got it?
One morning, the wide-mouthed frog decided to take a walk to see the world and enhance his education. As he hopped through the meadow by the pond, he came upon a cow. He hopped over to the cow and said, "Hello, Mrs. Cow. I'm the wide-mouthed frog. What do you feed your babies?" The cow replied, "I feed my babies milk." Oh! The frog hopped further into the meadow and came upon a bird pecking in the grass. He hopped over to the bird and said, "Hello, Mrs. Bird. I'm the wide-mouthed frog. What do you feed your babies?" "I feed my babies worms." Oh! The frog hopped further into the meadow and came upon a horse eating grass. He hopped over to the horse and said, "Hello, Mrs. Horse. I'm the wide-mouthed frog."
I'm gonna get some good stills from this.
"What do you feed your babies?"
Mommy.
The horse replied, "I feed my babies wide-mouthed frogs." Ooh.
Her mouth isn't wide anymore.
Hold this back for me, Daddy.
It reminds me of that big face, little face, where you're like,
Okay.
crunch it up.
Sorry.
All right, guys, quarantine's
That's
over.
all.
Quarantine's over. We're gonna get back to life. We're getting back to normal, and we're gonna.
Until the next quarantine.
Here, you want to shoot one? Here you go. Love you guys.
Love you,
Be
B.Bloomed.
bloomed. Bye.